And good Tuesday morning. Welcome to episode 46 of the Inside Drive podcast. Excited to have my good friend, who's a partner with Southern Elite Sports and Logistic Event Management, Chris Pfahl. Chris, how are you today?
I'm great, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. And of course, at 11:30, I'm excited to have one of my friends I grew up with. He's a hockey expert, so we'll dive into a little bit of hockey halfway through the show. His name is Al Carl. If you followed my radio show, you would recognize that name. He is currently the lead ice technician of the Washington Capitals and extremely tuned in with the hockey side of things. So excited to talk to him at about 11:30. Before we get started, do got to mention the official juice of the Inside Drive. That is Juice and Sunset. I got the watermelon waves right here. Delicious. Juice and Sunsets does a wonderful job. Most people aren't getting the vitamins and nutrients their bodies truly need from everyday foods alone. Busy schedules, processed meals, and depleted soil make it harder than ever to fuel our bodies properly. When your body is undernourished, it can't perform at its best. Energy drops, immunity weakens, and inflammation creeps in. Fresh, nutrient-dense juices are simple, powerful ways to bridge that gap. They deliver essential minerals your body can easily absorb, helping you feel better, think clearer, and make healthier choices one sip at a time. Visit Juice and Sunsets on Facebook to learn more, or head over to juiceandsunsets.com to place your order today. And of course, my good friend Alan Watson at Golf Plus. Looking to elevate your golf game with custom fitted clubs and pro level gear? Step into Golf Plus, a retail fitting and golf destination with roots stretching back to its foundation in Dothan, Alabama, all the way back in 1988. At Golf Plus, the focus is simple: get you fitted right. They use industry-leading technology like the Foresight Game Changer 2 launch monitor in not one but two simulators, and advanced shaft matching systems to dial in the perfect club for your swing. Whether it is a full new set or a retrofit of your current clubs. But it's more than just clubs. Golf Plus is a full-service shop, from expert grip work and loft and lie adjustments to quality repairs. With the curated selection of top brands, you'll find everything you need to play your best. And now, with its renovated golf shop right here in Panama City Beach, locals and golfers visiting the Gulf Coast can enjoy a premium fitting experience and apparel selection right next to the sandy beaches. Whether you're a beginner or seasoned player, Golf Plus delivers personalized service, cutting-edge technology, and gear you can trust. Book your custom fitting or stop by today, because the right equipment can make all the difference out there on the course. They are located at the shops of Edgewater right next to Firefly. You can give them a call at 850-249-2726 or go online to golfplusretail.com. You can book both your fitting and if you just want to play a little bit on the golf simulator. If the weather's bad outside, that is always an option. Again, that is Golf Plus right there in the Edgewater Shopping Plaza. Getting back to Chris. Chris, tell us a little bit about what you do in the local community. I know you're very tied in with sports, youth sports, high school sports, any kind of sport. And then, of course, you do some serious event management as well.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. So met a guy named Brent Dillard back in about 2015, 2016, and started playing in his leagues. And I'm a basketball guy first and foremost. I love all sports, but basketball is really my passion. And Brent shared that same passion as well. So over the better part of the last 10 years, we've helped build that community here in terms of local rec, travel, hosting tournaments, training, camps, all that good stuff. So that takes a lot of time. And then just on the real job, logistics solutions, event management. So I like to work different events. Don't hear our name a lot. We don't like taking credit for that, right? It's our clients that do the event. We're just there to assist and help. So very thankful for some of the partners we've had on that over the years.
Absolutely. Pretty much most events you've either attended or have heard about, logistics has been involved in that. And kudos to what you guys do for the local community and all the fun stuff that happens here for all the members of Bay County. Just such a wonderful, wonderful place to live. I hadn't mentioned this. I wanted to mention this a couple shows ago. February is called the perfect month. It only happens, or this February is the perfect month. It only happens every 823 years. 4 of each: 4 Sundays, 4 Mondays, 4 Tuesdays, 4 Wednesdays, 4 Thursdays, 4 Fridays, and of course 4 Saturdays. So I just thought that was an interesting little fun fact there. And then also congratulations to our Xbox contest winner. If y'all remember, that was a share contest to win a Xbox controller, Xbox headset, and also an Xbox $100 gift card. I forgot to do it on Friday. I did it on Saturday, did the video of the random number generator, and TJ Gregory ended up winning the Xbox contest. TJ, if you see this or I tagged you in one of the posts, please let me know how to get that stuff to you, and we certainly will. And then, of course, our American Charlie's Athlete of the Week. Posted about her last week as well, because it was an amazing feat there from Alana Rhodes. She's a Bay High weightlifter in the 101-pound class. She ended up winning her classification state championship this past week. So she is now our American Charlie's Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to Alana. great to see some individual state championships coming out of Bay High there. And a real quick shout out to our American Charlies, our Athlete of the Week contest winner. They donate a $50 gift card to all of our Athletes of the Week. Appreciate them doing that. American Charlies is your favorite American restaurant, also conveniently located there in the shops at Edgewater, right next to Firefly and Rocket Lanes. They got great daily specials, lots of TVs to watch all your sporting events that are going on, especially the Olympics right now. They do have private rooms available for parties. As one of my favorite things they do, military and first responder discounts daily. All your American favorites, fried chicken, pot roast, wings, burgers, shrimp, all those classic American dishes. They are now on DoorDash in case you can't make it in. They're also making Mondays great again with a happy hour special from 4 to 6 p.m., including a early Eagle menu. I know all the snowbirds are in town, so they're kind of catering to that crowd. So you can check them out. $14 meals again from 4 to 6 p.m. That is daily. So again, congratulations to Alana Rhodes for winning the state championship in the Olympic weightlifting 101-pound class. Some cool stuff there. Chris, want to talk about the medal count update real quick, and then also a little fun fact about some of those medal counts, or some of the medal counts that may be missing one or two. Olympics has a great app when it comes to following along with the coverage. I know we're finally getting a little bit closer there to the top. Current medal count. Who do you think's at the top right now?
I think it's Italy, right?
Italy is second.
Second.
But it's another kind of a Finger Lake country up there, little Nordic country. Just so good at all these winter sports.
I'll say Norway, but I don't think that's right.
No, that is correct. Yeah. Norway's got 13 golds, 8 silvers, 9 bronzes, and then 30 total medals. That has them in the lead right now. Like you said, Italy was second with 9 golds, 4 silvers, 11 bronzes, 24 total medals. And the USA has eclipsed the Dutch with 6 gold medals, 9 silver, and 5 bronze, bringing us 20 total gold medals. Some of those gold medals, the women's downhill alpine was Breezy Johnson, still one of my favorite skier names out there. It's almost as good as Peekaboo Street. That was a good one, too. And then we had Taylor Myers, or Alana Myers-Taylor. She won the women's monobob, which is the one-person sled. She won it by 0.04 seconds over second place. Her first gold medal, she was a decorated monobob silver medalist, but now got her first gold medal. So that was cool to see. No golds in cross-country skiing. I know that the mixed doubles, we took home silver, our first ever medal in mixed doubles. And then figure skating, we did have the team event gold. Freestyle skiing in the women's moguls, Elizabeth Lemley won the gold medal for us in that one. I don't think we typically win many golds in the moguls. That's such a fun one. My knees explode watching that.
Yeah.
And then speed skating, Jordan Stoltz won us 2 gold medals in the men's 500 and in the men's 100 or 1,000 meter as well. So 2 gold medals there for Mr. Jordan Stoltz, and that rounds out all of our gold medals. Again, you can check out any of that information and just search up the Olympics. But some good stuff so far from Team USA. And then, as we talked about before the show, I'd be remiss if I did not mention that Team Canada has not got a single gold medal yet, leaving fans wondering, what is the point of Canada being so cold, and then what is the point of Canada? Typically, they're very, very good in the Winter Olympics. Maybe it has to be up there in one of their provinces for them to be better. And then some controversies that have come out of the Olympics. We'll start. There's actually 2 of them. So we'll start with the curling controversy, and many of you may know about this already. And then you've probably seen videos and still pictures and all that stuff. It was an unusually tense exchange at the Cortina Curling Olympic Stadium on Friday. Canadian curler Mark Kennedy cursed out Oscar Eriksson from the Swedish team, telling him, "You can F off." In a hot mic moment streamed live to shocking curling fans came after the 9th end as Canada versus Sweden match, which Canada won 8-6, drew towards a close. The fallout challenges the spirit of curling, raises questions about the future of the sport. Kennedy was angry because the Swedish team accused him of repeatedly cheating by touching the stone beyond the so-called hog line. In curling, players slide a heavy granite rocks, which is only available from one island just outside of Scotland. That wasn't in the article, but I just remember seeing that on the broadcast coverage. They must release the rock before a line drawn in the ice that is called the hog line, or the stone is disqualified and taken out of play. According to the Swedish team, Kennedy had been double touching the stone, releasing the stone's handle, which contains electronic sensors, and then poking the rock itself, keeping a finger on it as it cruised over the line. Swedish curler Niklas Eden said after the match, "That's not allowed. It's pretty clearly stated," he said. Eden accused Kennedy of doing the move on purpose. "You can't touch the 20 kilogram stone of granite with your fingers without feeling it. It's completely impossible," Eden said. "We in the sport know how very few grams of pressure can change the speed when it already has movement forward. You can move some degree of the angle too." Curling officials who were stationed at either end of the sheet said they didn't see the violation, so they couldn't call it. And Kennedy from Canada denied it. "I've curled my whole life and never once with the intention of getting an advantage through cheating." He said after the match, "So when my integrity gets attacked, I get my back up and I'm a little bit aggressive. Still, I could have handled it better, no question," Kennedy acknowledged, refusing to apologize to Eriksson. The rules are even more clearly stated after World Curling. The official sports governing body weighed in Saturday. During forward motion, touching the granite of the stone is not allowed. This will result in the stone being removed from play, they said in a statement. Despite video circling around on the internet allegedly showing Kennedy's violations during the match, World Curling said that they would not use video replays to reitigate calls made by umpires during those games. They pledged instead to assign officials to observe deliveries going forward. They also issued a verbal warning to Canadian curling officials over Kennedy's language during the game. What do you think about this whole curling controversy, Chris?
Well, as friends, we always talk every 4 years about curling. It's one of our topics, right? So I'm not from a city that has curling. I know you've probably thrown a rock before or a stone before, right?
I wish.
Okay, so you haven't thrown a stone.
No.
Okay, my only question is this. How does it really affect the stone? I understand a couple of grams of pressure, but if your shot is off when you release, does that pushing even matter? Like I don't see, to me, it's not a huge controversy, but I'm not an athlete in the curling world, so I don't know how much it would affect the game, I guess is my take. Like I probably would have just let it blown over.
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, is it I don't know either, so I don't know how much a little poke, but it did look like he touched the stone.
Agreed.
Several, and you said you even kind of saw it during the when they didn't go to that side camera angle.
Yeah, I actually watched that match live at whatever time in the morning it was, and he definitely I think he had a touch or two, but again, not an expert, and to me, it doesn't really matter that much, but I guess it does.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can think of is, they're trying to curl it the last second they possibly can, so by the time that sensor gets to the line, if you can not be on that sensor and poke it, maybe that helps curl it more or less or something like that. I don't really know either.
Well, and I heard a comment too, and you're the golf pro. When you look at the curling path of the stone, right? They say it's a lot like reading a putt in golf. Do you see that? Do you agree with that? Like, I don't understand how you can read a stone like you would read a putt.
On flat ice. I guess reading the putt, like where you're visualizing it to go. Like if you have to throw it, so far out and bring it in from, maybe that's the only, because obviously the ice is flat, so I don't really know. But maybe it's just that visualization of how you're curling that stone or the path you want it to go.
Would you hear that comment? They talked about it's a lot like golf. You got to read the putt. That's why the other curlers are watching that first rock if they're shooting that same line the second time. So,
well, maybe it's like bowling too, where like you develop that oil pattern. Maybe on the on the sheet of ice, it develops that same pattern as well, where to curl a little more if it keeps going down. I don't know. I don't know enough about curling. Looks like I got to find somebody that's a curler to come on the show.
Other than like a shot correction, I don't see it being a huge advantage. Like, oh, maybe I'm like bowling, right? I'm a couple boards left or right. I need to put it back online. But
yeah, you can't get it while it's going down the sheet of ice. And then the other quote unquote controversy was on the figure skating side of things. I don't know if you saw this one or not. But Team USA's ice dancers appear to be moving, and they're not appealing it either, so appear to be moving on from the controversial scoring decision that seemingly snubbed them from their second gold medal at the 2026 Winter Olympics. Team USA's Madison Chalk and Evan Bates, also known as Chalk and Bates, won't be filing an appeal after all in the wake of the ice dancing's final scoring scandal, where a French judge appeared to show favor towards France's Laurence Fournier and Fournier Baudry, and I don't know, Ciazon is the last name. I don't know how to say stuff in French accents. That was last Sunday. And then in a statement to the outlet, U.S. figure skating CEO Mark Farrell said, "There has been a lot of thoughtful and times emotional discussion about the ice dance competition in Milan. Working together with Maddie and Evan after the games, we will have thoughtful and intentional discussions about the best way to support the future of the sport, Farrell continued. For now, we plan to join them supporting the success of the U.S. figure skating team in Milan. Chalk and Bates previously said they would consider submitting an appeal following their silver medal performance in the ice dancing final. The controversy stemmed from a French judge handing out a lopsided scoring that brought down the American pair score and boosted the French duo. The 24-hour window to appeal February 11th results has passed, though USFS could still take action by sending a letter of concern to the International Skating Union, according to USA Today Sports. French figure skating judge Jezebel Dubois came under fire last week after Baudry and Cizeron edged out Chalk and Bates with a total score of 225.82, just 1.43 points better than the American duo to win the gold medal. Dubois' scores drastically differed from those of her fellow judges and herself when it came to the American and French skaters. Many in the skating world were up in arms over the results. Chalk and Bates couldn't hide their surprise when interviewed on national TV after the scores came in and they learned of their fate. Bates later told USA Today, "We feel like we delivered the absolute best performance we could have. It was our Olympic moment. It felt like a winning skate to us, and that's where they're going to hold, and we're going to hold on to." This was Chalk and Bates' fourth Olympics together and first individual medal in ice dancing. In addition to earning silver, the figure skating partners own 2 Olympic gold medals from the team event, including one from this year's games. You think the French judge was... I looked more into this prior to reading this article. So the French judge on the French team, they gave him like a 99 or something like that. And then the USA team, it was such a different thing, and it seemed to push him over the edge. So it was just kind of one of those things that stood out. You think he did it on purpose?
I got 2 hot takes. You can't trust anyone named Jezebel to start with. So,
Dubois.
right? Jezebel, come on now.
Yep.
But here's the thing, right? So, again, neither you and I are technical figure skating judges where we could tell deductions or take penalties, right? But you look at other sports like baseball and tennis that have taken out the human error by putting in the strike zone, by putting in the automatic line calls.
Yep.
I'm old enough to know this isn't the first time we've had this controversy in the Olympics on judging. Now, it's not usually the team. It's more the individual or the figure skating.
And then you have a blow up afterwards.
But, I mean,
It was a good time.
I'm not technical enough to say whether or not, but it seems like enough people believe that it was an issue. And again, how do you solve it? Do you have a French judge judging a French pair? Maybe you throw out the score of the U.S. judge when the U.S. is skating or those kinds of things. But I just hate the idea of an athlete working so hard in their life and someone else taking away their potential to get a gold.
Absolutely.
So, but not for me to say. I mean, I'm just not I don't know anything about skating.
Yep.
But it does seem like a lot of people were pretty incensed with the results.
I mean, and that's a simple solution too. Just, recluse yourself from judging a team that's from your country.
How many is it? 6 and they throw out the top? Is it 7 and they throw out the top and the bottom scores?
I believe so, yep.
So, yeah, just add an 8th judge, and then when your guys skate, you recuse yourself for that round.
Yeah, that would make too much sense, though, right?
I'm waiting for that IOC call for you and I.
Right? Sign us up.
Yeah.
I'm in. Real quick, I know we got to get on the phone line here in about 5 minutes. Chris, I want to ask you. You're a big college basketball guy. I do want to ask you. Obviously a lot of big games over the last 4 or 5 days since we've been on the show again. Who are your top 5 teams in men's college basketball right now? Obviously, there's the rankings too, but I want to know your opinion on the top 5.
I mean, I watch a lot of college hoops, and at the beginning of the year, I thought Michigan was going to go undefeated and just destroy everyone. But I still have Michigan as my overall number 1. I think they're really, really good. Not a lot of weakness. They play physical. They play fast. They can play up tempo. They can play slow ball. A lot of great athletes. So Michigan, for me, is number 1. Number 2, going to my homer conference, Big 12, I think Houston, even after their loss at Iowa State last night, is just an incredibly
awesome
good,
game.
great game. But I think Houston has a lot of talent, and they're never out of the game, as evidence is. I mean, they're always going to battle you to the last second. I love basketball teams like that. Huge fan of Kelvin Sampson. I think, scandal aside, one of the best college basketball coaches of my time.
Everybody's got a little bit of something in their history. Right?
Yeah, and he wins everywhere. I mean, he's a baller.
He's a good coach.
I put Duke at 3, which really pains me to say that. I absolutely hate Duke, but I respect them. And Duke, again, is loaded with a top 2, top 3 recruiting class, and they got them coming again next year. But they're reloading. But I will say this. I think Duke does not have the coaching pedigree. I like the coach, but he's not Coach K. And I think that's going to cost them again in the tournament. But keep that in mind when we get to March. Coach Sire might cost that team that game. Number 4, after the win last night, Iowa State. Again, another really good team. TJ's done an incredible job coaching them. Do you see that stat last night? They've lost twice at home against ranked teams when he's there. I mean, that's insane.
It's nuts.
And then number 5 is kind of a toss-up. If I was a homer, I'd throw in my Jayhawks, but I don't think that's fair. This is a little outside the box. I think Florida's playing really good basketball right now. I could see by the end of the year they're a top 6, top 7 team. But yeah, I mean, right now I think the top 2, 3, 4 are pretty locked in, and then after that we have some parity.
Yep, which I think is exactly what you would want.
What's your take?
I mean, I agree with the majority of those. I mean, I like your Florida take too because I've watched several Florida games this year, and they just seem to just be dominant when they need to be, and I wouldn't want to play them at home either.
Do they win the SEC?
The SEC is such a cluster right now, so somebody's going to have to rise above, and I would say it would be Florida over Alabama for sure.
When you look every week, it's Texas A&M one week.
Yeah.
I think as we get into conference, you're going to start seeing Florida separate a little bit.
Yep.
But we'll see.
And it's kind of crazy that we're winding down, the basketball season. Conference play conference tournament start first week of March, right?
Yeah.
So already moving through college basketball. I wanted to mention one more thing on the Olympic side of stuff before we get to talk a little bit of hockey with my good friend Al Carl. You know how much you get for winning a gold, silver, and bronze for the Americans on that side of thing? And it's being paid by donations. So,
and a little different this year, right? With NHL players back.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna guess that it's a very nominal fee, 10 grand, 15 grand.
So $15,000 for a bronze, $22,500 for a silver, $37,500 for a gold. And then through a $100 million donation, each Olympian gets $200,000 per Olympic event. So obviously there's a big reason why they're so locked in because there's some serious cash on the line. I mean, because these guys don't get, paid. I mean, $200,000 per event is pretty solid. But unless you're winning a bunch of medals, if you got endorsements and stuff like that.
Is that every event across the board?
I would imagine so. That's the way it reads anyway.
I mean, for like a biathlete or a cut, that's a phenomenal amount of money to keep training.
I think that would just the biathlon. I think would just be considered one event though.
Right.
Although they're competing in all those different.
Oh, so the whole team would split. Like, say there was 5 biathletes for the U.S. Would they split that $200,000, or would they each get?
I think they would each get $200,000. Yep.
Yeah, that's life changing for some of the sports.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I love the fact that they're getting an opportunity to make some money too, as well. Because, like you mentioned before, Olympic athletes, they train their entire lives. They probably are some of the hardest training athletes out there, and they only get to go perform once every 4 years, depending on which sports you are in on that side of things. But before we take a quick break, I do want to talk about Panhandle Credit Union. At Panhandle Credit Union, quality relationships is what they are all about. Whether it is donating to a community event, sponsoring your child's sports team, they are here in the community to help us out. Check out their great banking products, loans, savings, checking accounts, as well as mortgages. Whatever your banking needs are, Panhandle Credit Union can handle it. Visit any branch location or head online to panhandlecu.org. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll have Al Carl. He's the lead ice technician of the Washington Capitals on the horn to talk a little bit about some Olympic hockey. I'm sure Chris will have some great takes too as well. We'll be right back. And welcome back, episode 46 of the Inside Drive podcast. Excited to have Al Carl, my good friend, on the line. Like I mentioned, he is the lead ice technician there for the Washington Capitals and a hockey expert. We'll dive a little bit into where we are in the NHL and, of course, talk a lot about Olympic hockey. Al, how are you today?
Ryan, I'm doing great, pal. It's good to be back on air with you.
No, it's
I
great to have
actually
you back
managed to survive Valentine's Day. Didn't have to sleep on the couch, so things are looking good right now.
That's a win. That's a win for sure. All right, real quick, Al, for those who didn't follow my radio show and don't know you, tell us a little bit about what yourself and how ice hockey has been such a big part of your life.
Yeah, so just like you did, Ryan, we grew up down the street together. We grew up playing hockey, whether it was on the street. We lived on a cul-de-sac, which was nice. But growing up, I played hockey my entire life. Played in high school. Got to play a little bit at a lower level college in New Jersey, and I actually ended up winding up on a Zamboni, and that kind of led me to where I am today. This is currently my 17th season in the National Hockey League. I spent 6 years to start my career with the New Jersey Devils, transferred over to the New York Islanders as their lead ice technician, and now I'm currently the director of ice hockey operations down at Capital One Arena, down in the nation's capital with the Washington Capitals.
Absolutely. Just a awesome journey and just such a cool thing to have, such a sport that you love so much to be, what you do as your career. I know you always told me too that the Capitals organization just does a wonderful job taking care of you guys and making sure you have everything that you need.
Yeah, 100%. This has been an absolute delight. And this, like I said, this is my second year down here with them. They made a lot of changes. They're not a friend. They're not afraid to spend money, which is absolutely fantastic. Because a lot of times that'll solve the problem with updating equipment and getting us the best stuff around. So I've been extremely blessed down here, and so far, like I said, just like last year, I said the move has paid off. I'm extremely happy down here at Capital One Arena.
Awesome. And then obviously tell us some of your career highlights that you've had doing what you do.
Yeah, so I mean, just a couple things just off the top of my head, and then we'll get to talking some hockey. So, like I said, I started off with the Devils, so I was fortunate enough to be on the Cup run in 2012, where we came a couple games short of winning a ring. And actually, the funny thing was when I was applying down here, I kind of used that to shoot myself off. But as they were kind of, looking at their own rings they got in 2018, it didn't really impress them all that much. But I was fortunate enough to be on the big stage for once in my life. Not a lot of guys got a chance to say this. They did that, so that was something. With the Islanders, they became the first team in hockey history to actually have two home rinks there for a while between the Barclays Center and the Nassau Coliseum. So as a result of that, I was on the first and currently only ever ice crew to actually have to manage two hockey arenas for a couple of years now. So doing that was something I hang my hat on very proudly. That was a very challenging part of my career. I learned a lot because both of those arenas couldn't have been more separate. They couldn't have been more different from each other. One being brand new but not built for hockey, and the other one being 50 years old but meant for hockey. So that was a lot of fun. But that was a lot of hard work too. And then probably the one thing I said, I don't know if you're showing the picture right now. I can't tell you, but actually it was 2 years ago today. And then that picture was from tomorrow. I was fortunate enough to work the stadium series at MetLife Stadium. So 2 years ago today was actually the Devils Flyers game where I actually was on the shovel crew for that game. And then I was fortunate enough and privileged enough to actually drive the resurfacer for the Islanders Rangers game the next day on the afternoon, which is, I believe, if you're showing the picture, that was from that. That was me going on the ice after pregame warmups.
That had to be such a cool experience to be inside that giant stadium, whereas usually you're in an enclosed arena. So just a cool change of pace and some pretty awesome career highlights in your 17-year career doing this. So very blessed, as you say, for sure. As we are approaching the end of the Olympics, who are the teams in the NHL that have separated themselves so far in each conference?
So looking back at the standings, it's been a bit since I looked at them. So right now, you have some usual suspects here. The Carolina Hurricanes. The Eastern Conference in general was very clustered for a while, where you go into one day, 2 points out of the playoff spot, you win, a couple teams lose, and all of a sudden you're in first place in your division. It was very clustered there for the while. But the Carolina Hurricanes. They've seemed to have separated themselves. They have an 8-point lead right now on the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are closely followed by the Islanders and then the Washington Capitals and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So you got a nice little rat race going there. The Tampa Bay Lightning have started to separate themselves in the Atlantic. They're up 6 points right now. But, with them being the usual suspects here, if you look at the Atlantic Division, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers are right now on the outside looking in. And you have three teams right now with the Detroit Red Wings and the Buffalo Sabres, who you've kind of been waiting for a couple years now for them to finally hit their strides. And they're finally doing it. If the playoffs were to start today, the Buffalo Sabres and the Detroit Red Wings will be in the playoffs. And then, Ryan, as we talked ad nauseum last year, with the Capitals playing the Montreal Canadiens, I mean, the one thing I kept on telling everybody, like, this team is going to be a problem within 2 years. And I was half right, half wrong, because they've been a problem this year. They didn't take 2 years for them. And the Montreal Canadiens are currently tied in second place, and they're doing their thing. And that young core is going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams. And I really just hope we don't have to play them in the playoffs again. And then the Pacific Division, kind of a rat race as well. Vegas is leading that right now. Edmonton not too far behind. The Seattle Kraken are playing well. The Anaheim Ducks are playing well. They're young and upcoming teams, so you got to watch out for those teams. But the story of the NHL and the powerhouses again are in the Central Division, with the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild currently battling out for second and third, and everybody's just chasing the Colorado Avalanche. They've just been unbelievable.
So
They've had an unbelievable season this year. And right now, I haven't checked the Vegas odds, but I'm sure they are the favorite by a long shot. But as we all know in Stanley Cup playoff hockey, anything can happen. Just throw the seeds right out the window.
93, the last year a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup?
1993, it was Patrick Roy on the Montreal Canadiens.
That's right. I just got to throw those Canadian digs in wherever I possibly can.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is, Ron, like we talked about, the state of Florida runs hockey.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. They've had this, the 6 Stanley Cup, the last 6 Eastern Conference champions. 4 of the last 6 are Stanley Cup champions. They got the state. Why do they have the Stadium Series? Why are they having the Winter Classic of Florida? Well, you know what? They've earned it.
Yeah,
they've earned it. Give it to them for 1 year. They've been absolutely dominant. So
yeah, it's run through either Tampa or down there in Sunrise the last several years. So. All right, Al, pivoting over to Olympic hockey, which is the main topic of conversation right now, did want to ask you, what is the main differences between NHL and international hockey?
I think it's changed, right? And whether it's good or bad, that's a different discussion. That's a different conversation. But I guess from what these people used to think of at the Olympics, that it was just more skill, it was more speed. And, the rink was bigger, and that's why that was. You have the teams, like the Russian teams or even any European team that concentrated on speed. They were always favorites, and they always did very, very well because they had the extra ice, they had the open ice, and they were able to, pretty much outskate other teams to wins and to medals. With the smaller rink now, and I don't want to say throwing them under bus, but the Kachuk brothers at the Four Nations playoff pretty much just changed all that. So we changed our game. We're playing a very NHL style game now, and if you look at what Canada had to do to their roster, specifically with Tom Wilson, and a couple other smaller changes, they've had to adapt as well. So I do believe that the Olympics as a whole are going to more of an NHL style, a more close physical play, as opposed to what it used to be, where it was just open and speed killed.
Interesting. I mean, I remember the rinks used to be so different in size behind the net. There was so much more space than an NHL game. Over on the women's side, the women have scored 31 goals and have only allowed 1 goal, and they just set the Olympic record for consecutive shutouts. What makes the USA women's team so dominant?
Well, here's the fun thing. So it seems like with the United States, they made some changes. So this isn't like your usual suspects. I think they probably played together maybe during that one. I guess they play a Challenge Cup or whatever with Canada. They play a best of 4 out of 7. But pretty much so their roster is comprised, where Canada comprised, they're all PWHL athletes. They're all professionals. They're all their mainstays. You got the Philippe Marie Poulin, who's like coming back from injury. You got your Dawn Stacey's, and you got your standard players there. The United States, they're using 7 collegiate players out of the 23. So they have 23 total players. 16 of them are in the PWHL. You had your Hillary Knights. You had your Kendall Coyne Schofields or Alex Carpenters. You got your mainstays. You got your leadership. You got your nuts and bolts right there in the core of your team. But you're bringing in 7 college kids, and they're just dominating the Olympics right now. So 4 of the 7 come from the University of Wisconsin. And Ryan, for those of you who don't really follow collegiate women's hockey, the University of Wisconsin, they don't have the numbers that UConn's women's basketball team does. No one ever will, but that's the closest similarity I can find to it. The University of Wisconsin has been to, let me see if I got this correctly, they've been to 5 of the last 6 national championship games, and they won 4 of them. So that organization and that team, that college team, has just been absolutely dominant. And we have 4 of their star players on their team right now And if you look at who the leading scorer on the lead in the tournament is as of right now, is Caroline Harvey, who was a defenseman from the college from Wisconsin University. She's got 7 assists leading the Olympics, 9 points leading the Olympics, and she's a plus 14 leading the Olympics. Then you throw Layla Edwards in there and Abby Murphy in there, both with 7 points, both at +8, and both from the University of Wisconsin. So, like, these college kids that the Team USA has brought in have completely taken over the Olympics. And if you've been following them on the TV broadcast, they are not shy from showing you that information from the first-time Olympians for Team USA. Where Canada seemed to have stayed stagnant, the USA made some changes.
Interesting. Kind of like Wisconsin's almost a farm team for the United States Olympic women's team there on the college side.
Hey, Alice, this is Chris. I had a quick question for you.
Yeah, what's up, pal? How you been?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right.
Real quick, give us your gold medal game predictions and winner. Both sides, men and women.
Oh yeah, well for the women's, like I said, we've had Canada's number as of recently. We got them 5-0 earlier in the tournament, but that was without Marie Philippe. Yeah, it's I can't remember. It's Captain Clutch is what they call her. She's the all-time Olympic scoring leader, I think, in women's Olympic history. She may be. We beat them 5-0. She didn't play. She's back. She may be able to account for maybe 1 or 2 goals out of it, but this looks like a U.S. victory. Obviously, we're going to play the game. Anything can happen. We'll go 3-1 with an empty netter to seal it. I think Ariel Frankel is going to have an absolutely outstanding game. As Ryan said, she has 4 straight shutouts. They have the longest shutout streak in Olympic history, both men's and women's. I'm looking for the USA to take that. You know, I'll be a homer with the men's as well. You know, my wife and I, we actually just watched Miracle the other night.
Nice.
We're pumping.
Did you watch?
We're
the
going
new doc
USA
on
crazy
Netflix?
right now. Somehow that slipped through my radar throughout the years. I've never saw Miracle until the other night, and obviously I know the impact that the 1980 team had on America and on the world as a whole. But I never saw the movie. So we watched the movie. We got all fired up. I know the Kachucks are fired up. I know that whole team is. It's been a very, very long time since they brought home the gold. We have the bone to pick since 4 Nations. I'm looking for 2 Team USA. Again, let's do maybe like a 4-2 with an empty netter or something close.
Ryan, if both of those hit next time he's down, I'm taking him to American Charlie because that would be a phenomenal result.
There you go. Absolutely. I sure hope so. What are the keys to that? You know, should obviously USA and Canada make it, which it's kind of look like they're destined to make it again to the gold medal game. What are the keys for USA to win that game?
Well, right now, so by seeing how they've been playing, and actually I wrote down their line combinations, Ryan, and pretty much what the Team USA has been doing. And there was a phrase, 4 lines banging. And that's what they've been doing. Every line has been hitting on all cylinders. Every line has been scoring. Every line has been contributing. You got the Eichels with Jack Eichel with the Kachuk brothers.
Yeah, that's such an awesome
They're obviously
line.
on the top power play unit. They've been doing their thing. Austin Matthews has been getting on the scoreboard. He kind of got killed a little bit in 4 Nations. I don't think he had a tournament that last February, that was up to his standards. He's starting to get on the scoreboard. He's paired with Jake Getzel and Matt Boldy. That line has been doing very, very well. I know I've seen Matt Boldy's name on the score sheet in a while. Probably the biggest addition that Team USA did, and I'm such a big fan of his, is adding Tage Thompson to the roster. Tage Thompson is like 6'4". He moves like a gazelle, and he is just an absolute amazing hockey player. He plays for the Buffalo Sabres, which is probably why you never heard of him. But Tage Thompson is an absolute unreal hockey player. He's on the 3rd line with Dylan Larkin. They've been doing absolutely well. Thompson's got a couple goals, couple assists. And then the big thing is, and like I said, these guys have probably never played on the 4th line in their entire life. Yep. But you have Jack Hughes with the New Jersey Devils and Brock Nelson, formerly of the Islanders, now at the Colorado Avalanche, playing with either JT Miller or Vincent Trocheck from the Rangers. You got a little Metropolitan Division flavor on the 4th line, and they've been connecting, especially that first game Brock Nelson had 2 goals, 2 assists, and they covered ad nauseum with the heritage of his family with Olympic gold medals. How about that for a picture, Ryan? If they end up doing this, and Brock Nelson with his uncle and his grandfather, that's a picture to last a lifetime right there.
No
but
doubt.
That's what it is, and that's what they have to do, because no matter what, if you look at Canada's lines up and down, again, like when was the last time you would ever think Sidney Crosby would be a third line center on any team? And that's what he is right here. I mean, that's just how stacked Canada is. Connor McDavid is having an absolutely phenomenal tournament. And the thing is, it's not even Crosby, it's not McKinnon, it's not McDavid, it's Macklin Celebrini is the one that's absolutely stealing this tournament for Team Canada. He's the guy, he's on that top line with Connor McDavid. It's got to be 4 lines banging, no matter who's out there versus Celebrini and McDavid. And I do believe their third, I don't even know who that was on their third line with them, but was Tom Wilson of all people.
A whole bunch of superstars on that team.
Who they actually, I was watching the Canadian telecast of their last game, and Tom Wilson, they spent about 5 minutes during an intermission talking about how great he's playing and how much Connor McDavid loves to play with him. So Canada's hitting on all cylinders right now. We got to have 4 lines banging, and we just got to, keep this low scoring, keep it physical, and, just get a couple past Jordan Binnington. And I do believe we have a goaltending advantage, and that's not, Jordan Binnington kind of bit me in the butt last year talking 4 nations. Well,
that was going to be my follow-up question too. After that is, who do you start in goal for Team USA for the gold medal game?
Oh, it has to be Connor Hellebuck. It has to be. There's no other. I guess Swayman is their backup. I guess Ottinger's not even dressing, which maybe he's having a down year. I really haven't paid attention to the Western Conference all that much, but until further notice, Connor Hellebuck is Team USA's goalie. He will be for the next couple of years.
Awesome. Good stuff. My second to last, or actually, Chris, you had an interesting point that you had said, about the series stuff. Why don't you talk to Al about that real quick?
Remind me.
But doing the USA-Canada just right off the jump, obviously it would never happen.
So, Al, I made a comment early in this tournament. Why can't we just play best of 5 between U.S. and Canada and call it a day for the gold? But,
yeah, you would think that would be the obvious thing to do and just let everybody else play for bronze. But then I don't mean to answer a question with a question here, but then why didn't we just give the Soviet Union the gold medal in 1980?
Agreed.
That's fair. Have you seen the documentary, the new one on Netflix? Al, I know you just watched Miracle the movie, but they've got that new doc called Miracle: The Boys of 1980.
That's really good.
It's so good,
yeah.
especially since you.
Yeah, I didn't even know that exists. I'll definitely have to try to check that out maybe tonight when the Olympic day is done. We'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's Netflix. They got so much great behind the scenes footage of a lot of stuff you never even heard about. And one of my favorite Herb Burks quotes to use for my youth sports teams that I coach is, "The legs feed the wolf." And they're like, what does that mean to see? If your legs are the weakest, you're going to feed the wolf because you're going to fall behind and the wolf's going to eat you. One of my favorite Herb Brooks quotes there. All right, last but not least, given your expertise in managing ice and facilities, how much would it cost to set up a curling club down here in Panama City Beach, Florida? The Bay County Curling Club is what we'd call it.
Okay, so I've been trying to watch videos. I've never installed a curling crease. I want to. I'm big into the curling. I know, actually, I have some curling notes here. I thought we were going to be doing some curling today too, Ryan. But I guess we'll save that for after we win gold medals in those events too.
There you go. How are we doing right now?
It's a very, very thin sheet of ice. It's a very fine-tuned sheet of ice, and those ice makers, they're called ice makers, I guess, not technicians. Those ice makers, they have to be a little bit more precise even than what we do here in an actual hockey rink. And we're pretty precise, but they have to be down very, very fine detailed because that ice is very, very thin. You have to make sure it's pebbled correctly. And it's a pretty wild concept. There's definitely some videos out there on it.
Well, Al, when you're ready to retire, I think Ryan and I would like to bring you on and start that Bay County Curling Club as soon as you're ready to move to Florida.
That sounds great. I got my in-laws are in Florida, so my wife does have the itch to get down there at some point.
There you go. And I know a real estate agent that could sell you some property. So we got the whole.
Yes, I heard she's pretty good. We
just got to find some land to build this curling club. But I know we'd have a lot of active participants right off the jump. So
think about our winners with all the snowbirds.
Yep, right. The Canadians. Yeah. We could be USA versus Canada.
4 nations curling in Panama City.
Yeah. See, we got it all. We got the whole business plan. We don't even really need anything. Al, speaking of curling, if you got a couple notes, I'd love to ask you some questions. What do you think? You think the USA's got a shot in men's and women's to make it to the, did we qualify in both to the knockout run? I guess should my first
No,
question.
we didn't qualify yet. The girls are on the cusp. They just they won again this morning. I just right before we went on air. They or if they played on. They're 5-2. Yeah, we just beat Denmark 10-3. So that was a nice little statement. You know, they kind of tripped up a little bit. I guess they lost to Italy in their last game, and Italy was 0-5 or 0-6 at the time. So they had a little bit of a trip right there. Like I said, but they came to play. Like I said, we've never beaten Canada. And like I said, I do follow women's curling in Canada because they have a tournament every February that I watch that I accidentally stumbled upon about 10 years ago. And their Canadian skip is pretty much, she wins that tournament. Her name is Rachel Holm, and she wins that tournament every year. And she's having an off year right now. So if there's a time to jump on it, you know, a gold medal without Canada possibly not even being involved in the actual playoff, now's the time. But Canada actually just beat Sweden, who was previously undefeated. So it looks like Rachel Holman's finding her mark. So we're sitting 5-2 right now. We're tied for second. Actually, the team that we're tied with, we play on Thursday, so that'll be a big game. The men are actually tied for fourth right now. And if we went out, we're playing right now, I think. I'm not sure, but it pretty much comes down to they have a win. It might come down to a win-and-in situation in their last game against Great Britain. On
the last I see for
Wednesday,
men
8 a.m. Looks like Wednesday, 8 a.m. according to my notes. They play Great Britain. That's our team that we are tied for fourth with. So we could, you know, playoff curling could come early for the guys.
There you go.
So I think the girls have a better shot of winning right now. But the guy, if they're in there, you know, Schuster, right? He was the guy that won gold for us twice.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Schuster
yeah,
is our experience, and this new team, they're good, but they're very young.
Yeah, and they actually that was the qualifying final. Is actually
Right.
This team actually beat Schuster's team to make it. So it says something right there about the quality of this team. So, but yeah, it's at every, you know, any given Sunday, right? Anytime you know, the rocks are flying, you never know what happens.
Absolutely. It looks like China, in the most recent game on the men's side, China beat us 8-5. So
Oh wow!
I think we got one more, you said, against Great Britain to get in.
Yeah, I think that they have a game before that.
They play 9.
That I don't know who they're playing. I can't remember the schedule because I'm on my phone right now. I can't really look at the schedule, but I know that we do play Great Britain in our last game, and that's who we're tied with. So it's a potential win and in situation. So we get that win, or even if we lose one and beat them, we get the tiebreaker. You know, there's a lot of things going on right now. So.
A lot of action in the scenarios there. That's for sure. That is for sure. Well, Al, I appreciate you jumping on with us, and I'm glad we got to talk to you here on my new medium here on the Inside Drive podcast versus the radio show, which was always a pleasure as well. I hope you and the missus are doing well, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Yeah, Ryan, I appreciate you guys having me on. I was about to say the place looks really nice. I thought it was the same studio. I thought you just renovated it, but I guess it's a new studio. So
Yeah,
everything looks nice.
Turn Up Studios here in Panama City, so they do a wonderful job. Anybody looking to host a podcast, check out turnupstudios.com. Al, we appreciate your time. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, keep in touch, right? Thanks, pal.
Take care.
Bye. Easy peasy. Need to talk to him, or he needs to have a little show before every USA match. He'll get you fired up with his.
You can tell his energy is.
Yep, it's high.
Yeah.
And he's a straight up New Jersey guy. You can hear it in his voice. That is for certain. I did want to kind of finish the show talking a little bit about the story of Anthony Kim. Remember Anthony Kim? Mm-hmm. He was a big time, you know, a young PGA Tour winner. He was using drugs between holes at Augusta National, contemplating suicide for decades, couldn't walk into a rehab without help. And then today, which was the other day, he just beat two of the greatest golfers alive. Not one of, if not the greatest sports comeback stories of all time. Anthony Kim, who kind of came onto the scene as a young man. He's a father, husband, 3-time PGA Tour winner before the age of 25. Alongside only Tiger, Phil, Sergio, and Adam Scott to do that. He ruptured his Achilles tendon back in 2012. He basically disappeared for 12 years. He was battling drug and alcohol addiction, used during majors, making bathroom stops between holes just to get through the round, contemplating ending his life for almost 2 decades while the world thought he was living the dream. His body eventually shut down. He could barely walk into rehab. His wife, Emily, and daughter, Bella, pulled him back. He got a second chance with Live Golf into 2024, finished dead last, didn't earn a single point in 2 full seasons, got relegated from the league. This was a few days ago. Most people would have quit. He showed up every single day and worked to get 1% better after being cut from the league. He earned his spot back through qualifying tournament on pure merit today, again, which was a couple days ago, in the final round of Live at Adelaide, playing alongside Bryson DeChambeau and John Rahm, 2 of the biggest names in golf. He came back from a 5-shot starting deficit, and has just shot 9 under to win the golf tournament. This man was ready to leave Earth. Now he just did the unthinkable. If that doesn't prove you can come back from anything, nothing will. It's never too late. Just thought that was a really cool story. Obviously, Anthony Kim burst onto the scene as a young golfer, winning tournaments left and right, and then got an opportunity to come back on Live a couple years ago. Everybody was like, why is he back? Why is he getting a chance? And obviously a couple years later, after doing a whole lot of nothing on the golf world, wins a tournament. And I know it's Live, and a lot of people have their thoughts about Live, but it's still a 72-hole event competing against good golfers.
And you said 5 strokes back on last round?
5 strokes back on the final round.
So this is my take, and tell me if I'm wrong, but what makes that even more impressive is like, he would have finished 1 or 2 shots back. That's still a great story. But 5 shots back in a final round, that's a 30-point deficit in basketball in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
I mean, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
How that come back.
Absolutely. So good for Anthony Kim, kind of getting that golf world back, and he's thankful for all the right reasons. So it's just a really cool story to see that. Just in other golf news, the Pebble Beach Pro-Am went down this past weekend in a very, very windy tournament. Some of these scores that these guys shot and how windy it was out there is just crazy. Some guys were hitting driver on the par 3 7th, the one that's down the hill because the wind was so brutal. Colin Morikawa gets back into the winning circle, I believe, after 2 years of a winning drought. I mean, the average win on tour is like every 3 or 4 years anyway, so I don't think it was a drought in my opinion. But what was most impressive about his win is he shot a 62 on Saturday to put him right towards the top of the leaderboard. And then on his way in on Sunday, or on 2 days ago, because I forgot yesterday was Monday, he bogeyed 17 and then came back to birdie 18 to win the tournament by a stroke. So maybe Colin Morikawa is getting his career back into the shape that we saw it a few years ago. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Scottie Scheffler with another top 8 finish. I think that makes some ridiculous number of consecutive top 8 finishes. He was only 2 strokes back, shooting a nice 9 under par 63 on Sunday. So Scottie Scheffler is he's a robot out there.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy what he's doing.
When's our next Ryder Cup cycle? Is it 28?
We just had the one, so it was at Bethpage last year, so you get 28, and it'll be back over there across the pond.
If we have time, who's your 6? So who's your top 6 for our Ryder Cup in 2 years from now? Is it still Scheffler? Is it Colin? Is it new guards, old guard? I
mean, it's definitely got to be Scheffler, but I think you got to get some of the guys that are in there, like a Patrick Reed, regardless of how good or bad he's playing. I think you got to get, because the Europe always had Ian Poulter in there, and Patrick Reed is our Ian Poulter, in my opinion. You got to have guys that maybe are not playing the best golf in the world, but have that fire and that kind of will to win, because that just seems, and we need to get a better, no offense to Keegan, I thought he did a great job, but prior to that we had Zach Johnson. It was just such a wet noodle captaincy. We have to have somebody in there that can fire these guys up and be the captain that they need them to be, because Europe has certainly been dominating us over the years, and I think we need to get that figured out here.
Ryan,
sooner than later.
You know I'm a DraftKings guy, right?
Yep.
Give me a golfer under the radar, under 7,500 to use this year on DraftKings.
There's probably several of them. I just don't know if they're under 7,500 or not. But
give me those long shots, right? The one you got to fill out that roster with.
There's some good ones for sure.
What was the local golfer that we were supporting?
Chase Seifert.
Yeah, is he still hitting?
I don't think he's playing on tour anymore. He's still involved in golf though. I just don't remember exactly. Here, I want to give you some accurate numbers here, so I'm just going to pull up DraftKings real quick. I believe we got Riviera this week coming up.
Are we getting back on that train? We haven't played in a while.
I know. I'll send one out this week for sure, because now that football's over, I'm not really doing a whole lot on the DraftKings side of things. Even though they got the pick 6 on there, so you can.
Saw that.
About time. That was available in lots of other states too.
That's a whole other show. Have you seen that predictors they have on there? It's all buying futures.
Pretty crazy. All right, I'm just going to pull it up while we're talking, because, again, I want to give you the correct. You said under 7,500.
Yeah, give me a good sleeper for this weekend at Riviera that you're not going to use against me.
I won't. I don't know if he's considered a sleeper or not, but J.J. Spawn sitting right there at 7,500. Taylor Pendrith at 7,200 is another good one. And these are just guys. Keith, who comes on our show usually on Tuesdays, but I've been mixing up the calls a little bit. He's keen on those guys for sure. Matt Gracerman, too, is another good one. Again, I don't want to give you too many because I'm going to be going up against each other.
Is Zalatoris playing this weekend?
I don't know if he's...
You know that's my guy, right? You saw that.
Yep. Before he really became the guy, and then unfortunately he dealt with all those back injuries. He is not playing this weekend. Or he's not on DraftKings, which would mean he's not playing. All right. Finish up with a couple quick things here. I do want to mention, as I always do, the UA basketball and girls soccer teams have some games this afternoon. We've got the girls soccer team who is traveling over to Palm Bay, and the boys soccer team is traveling over to Surfside, and then we'll both be back home on Thursday. Boys had a bye last week. Girls are 5-0 traveling to Palm Bay. Boys basketball team 4-1 traveling to Surfside. So good luck to both the UA middle school programs. Next year, you probably won't, if I'm still doing podcasts, which I hope to be, you probably won't hear as much about UA stuff because Liam will be in 6th grade and Ryan will be in high school. So the reason why I try to promote is because we have so many friends and people and we used to do a lot of middle school stuff across the board. And as we get to the playoffs, we'll update you on everything. There are some baseball games coming up tonight as well. Always want to try to touch on some local stuff that you guys can go see. Chris, anybody you want to give a shout out to on the local sports world?
Yeah, 100%. You guys know I'm a hoops person. Really great job by Coach Willie Kirkland and Coach Jan Lowe. They've got Ponce de Leon and Port St. Joe are in the regional finals. I think it's one more or two more and they're going to state, one more they're going to state. But just phenomenal job. If you're following Port St. Joe basketball, when I moved here in the late 90s, they were the team. And they're 24-1 this year, or 25-1. I don't know. They've lost one. They get a shot, and they get that rematch coming up. But like, I am so excited for Jan and his crew down there. They've got some great players. They're young. Port St. Joe isn't going anywhere. And then on the other side of the coin, Willie and what he's done at Ponce de Leon. I'm telling you, Ryan, when's the last time we talked about Ponce de Leon this late in the season?
Not very often.
Just phenomenal job by both of those guys. And I think you're seeing some of these rural teams are the class of our area right now.
Yep.
You know, Mosley's pretty strong. Bay's got a good team. But look at the results. There is proof in the pudding that some of these rural schools are the dominant ones. So big shout out to Willie. Big shout out to Jan. Those guys are doing great things at their schools. And we're wishing them all the best on their road to state.
And they could end up playing each other, it looks like.
Yeah, I hate that.
Which is kind of a bummer because... So, Ponce de Leon, the 21st, what's that? Is that Friday? Or is that Saturday? Let's see. 21st is Saturday. Holmes County will be taking on Ponce de Leon at 7 p.m. That'll be at Holmes County. And then Port St. Joe, like you said, getting the rematch against Crossroad Academy. That'll be at Crossroad Academy at 7 p.m. as well.
Did you see those tickets sold out within 72 hours? That gym is sold out already for that game.
That's awesome. Yeah, I did not see that.
Yep.
This shows how big of a game it is there in the Class 4 rural?
That's rural. What is that? I think about districts 2 to 4, 3 to 4 combined. I don't know. I think there's 3 or 4 districts that go into that regional.
Awesome.
You know how it works, right? Like if you lose district championship, you usually still get in if you got a pretty good record into regionals. So.
But if you play a team that maybe has a lower seed than you and they won their district, then you're playing.
Yeah, like Chipley got into regionals and had a pedestrian record. I'm not disrespecting Chipley. They played up and played a lot of tough teams, so they deserve that spot there.
Well, finish the show with talking about one of our other awesome sponsors. That is Firefly. Let me quick. Where did it go? Juice.
It's still my favorite grouper dish anywhere in Bay County. No disrespect to anyone else, but man, they do it right at Firefly.
Yep, they certainly do. Looking for an unforgettable dining experience on Florida's Gulf Coast? Welcome to Firefly right here in Panama City Beach, Florida, where casual elegance meets world-class cuisine. Whether you're celebrating a special night out or just want phenomenal food with a seaside vibe, Firefly certainly delivers. From award-winning fresh Gulf seafood and perfectly seared steaks to a world-class sushi bar and signature cocktails, every dish is crafted with passion and flair. Step inside and you'll find an atmosphere that's warm, welcoming, and refined, ideal for those date nights, celebrations, or simply savoring an evening with friends. With an ever-evolving menu and dedicated service staff, Firefly is more than dinner. It's an experience. Make your reservation today and taste why Firefly is one of the top dining destinations in Panama City Beach. Visit their menu online, enjoy fresh coastal favorites, and become a part of the tradition. Firefly, located in the shops of Edgewater. Book now at fireflypc.com and dine with PCB.com and dine with distinction. Apparently, all my sponsors are right there in the Edgewater shopping plaza.
Makes it a quick, fun day.
That's right. Just say hello to everybody in one foul swoop. Chris, appreciate you coming on.
Always great to see you, Ryan.
Glad we were able to talk some Olympics and a little bit of basketball there for you. So Again, thank you so much, and I'm sure I'll see you here soon.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys for listening to the Inside Drive, episode 46. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and then, of course, tomorrow we'll have all of the full produced podcast on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. It'll be there. Just search the Inside Drive. Again, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you on Thursday.